Good. I think we're ready to go now. Okay. So the first thing we're going to learn how to do, since the last class we were working on bisecting a segment. We were talking about, where's the midpoint in a segment. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to do that now with pencil and paper and compass and straight edge. So the first thing we have to do is we have to draw a line segment. So draw a line segment like that. Well, don't make it so large that you can't do anything else on the page. And make it reasonable. All right, now don't put it so close to the edge either, because we're going to want some space around it. So try and make it look like mine for right now. Okay, now this pen. Doesn't matter. Just use the ruler. Okay. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our compass, and mine's going to look a little different than yours because mine needs to show up on the screen. And what we want to do is we're going to take that compass, and let's get some vocabulary down. This is called the pin, P-I-N, okay, like a needle. Yep. And this is the point, so I'll be talking about them separately, pin and point, okay? So now what I want you to do is I want you to put your pin on one of the endpoints, all right? And then I want you to open up your compass so that the point is bigger than half. So make it kind of wide, bigger than half. And I want you to draw an arc. Now, you hold the compass almost like you hold a paintbrush. All right? Let's see if I can get a better light. Better. Much better. You hold the compass like a paintbrush. Okay? And you go ahead and paint with it in a sense. All right? So, if you want, you can try this. Flip the paper over and practice for just a few moments. Okay? Practice drawing simple arcs. Get used to the idea. So, just practice. You drag it behind you. You don't hold it straight up and down. If you hold it straight up and down, it becomes very difficult because it skips. Like, when you put chalk on a chalkboard, it skips like that when you hold it straight. So you have to hold it at a bit of an angle. Sometimes it's easier if you hold the pencil down. If you hold it straight and then turn the paper. If that works better for you, do it that way then. There's plenty of paper on the board on the tables, so practice a little bit. Okay, so now we've practiced a little bit. Now, go back to this for a minute. Now, here's the very important part. If you need to start over, go ahead. But you cannot change your compass in the middle of this instruction. It has to stay the same. So, if you need to, you can figure out exactly where your pin length was, because you're going to need to now do it again from the other side. Yeah, I've done this before. So, all right. Now, the important part of this is, like I said, there are two rules. One, you cannot change your compass. And two, you have to have your compass be bigger than half. Okay, those are the two big rules for this. Okay? And now what we're looking for, what we're interested in, are these 2 points, here and here, where they touched each other, where the 2 arcs intersected. That's the important piece. Now, once you've drawn the two arcs, right? Okay, if you've got the two arcs, they have to be the same size. You draw a line connecting the 2 points where they intersected with a ruler. Well, with a straight edge. Yeah, use a ruler. So there's nothing free-handed anywhere in here. No freehand anything. That's the whole point. Okay? We're not guessing. We're finding it for sure. And now there are two things that happen. One, this is the midpoint. We found the midpoint. And this segment, let's call them A, B, and C. When we say that we've cut something in half, what do we know about those two pieces that we just got when we cut them in half? They are congruent. They're the same length. Okay? When you say, if you take, a loaf of bread and you cut it in half, both halves are equal to each other. They're congruent to each other. So we use this tick mark. Sometimes it's 1 tick mark, sometimes it's 2 tick marks, sometimes it's 3 tick marks, and we'll go into making all sorts of markings when we have a full class period to do it in. So we now have and what are the two congruent segments that I'm talking about? What do we call them? Give me the names of them. They're on the page. C is congruent to who? BC. Okay? Now, I put that little line over the top of them to say that those are segments. Okay? Line segments have a bar over top of them. And the third thing that we found is we've made a right angle. How many degrees in a right angle? 90 degrees. And it's right there. Actually, we didn't just make one of them. How many did we make? Yeah, actually, not just 2, but how many? All 4. All 4 of these are right angles. And I'm not going to cover up my C, but there it is. You can see all 4 of my angles are right angles. And what's 4 times 90? 360 degrees. Right. Each one of those angles is 90, and I go all the way around. That means I've done 360 degrees. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So let's practice this one more time because we're going to be doing this. We need to do this all the time perfectly. This is one of those constructions that happens a lot. So make a line segment. And okay, now how big does my segment have to be? Yeah, my compass has to be more than half. That's the trick. If it's less than half, then we have a problem. It'll never intersect. Mine tipped out a little bit there. Alright, so cool. We've made our picture. Now the question is, there's a good question. Why does it work? And it works because what you're really making with all of these points, 1, 2, 3, 4, well, let's draw it. Look at my red lines. If I just look at the red lines, what shape is that? Take a look up there. What shape? Look at all these shapes up here. Which one of those shapes is that guy? Well, I don't see the word diamond written on that wall. Well, which one? Is it the first or the second or the third?
I think it's the third one.
Aw. That one? I don't know about that one.
Oh, I dropped it.
What about that one? I'll do another one and maybe it'll show. You don't have to do this one. You just have to follow it. 1 second. What's up? What? That's the second time. So, come here. What's wrong? Did you?
No, you said it did.
You broke it. It's alright. You broke the lens. Just broken lens. No problem. Alright, wrong way. Sure. Alright, I'll do it one more time just to show you a different situation real quick. What shape does it look like now? Look at those shapes up there. Is it a rectangle? Is that a rectangle? No. Is it a trapezoid? No. How about a parallelogram? Kind of maybe. A little bit, but maybe, I mean, even if it is, it sure doesn't look like that one. And we could probably find one that looks a little better than it. Is it a kite? No, it doesn't. That's not a kite. What about a rhombus? Yeah. It's not a square. The first one kind of looks like a square. The one on the left kind of looks like a square. But in order for it to be a square, you'd have to have right angles everywhere, right? You have to have 490s in the corners, right? And do we know if those are perfect 90-degree angles in this left-hand shape? No, they might be 89 or 88 or 91, but maybe not exactly 90. Okay? But in a rhombus kind of looks, I mean, if you've ever played with a cardboard box and, you know, you're breaking down a cardboard box, if it tips over on its side, like that, you know, that's kind of what it looks like. In fact, it is. That is a rhombus, right there. And the cool thing about a rhombus is that it's symmetric. You can flip it, and it looks exactly the same. And that means if you can flip it and it looks exactly the same, that means that some of those pieces have to be the same. In fact, this and these two segments were made at the same time when I drew that arc, right? So, and if I didn't change the compass in the middle of drawing my arc, those two segments have to be equal. And if we didn't change the compass between both arcs, and we kept those two segments being the same length, then that means that all four of these are the same. And look, what about if I folded it? If I folded it. Actually, let's do that together. Everybody take one sheet of paper, and I want you to fold it lengthwise and widthwise, hamburger and hot dog, both ways. Okay? And now I want you to find the corner that is the center of the, you have to go with the corner. Find the corner, which of these four corners is the one that's the center of the paper? Yeah, there's more paper over here. So find the corner that's the center of the paper. All right. And what I want you to do is I want you to take that corner. This is my center. And I want you to fold it in. Make a fold. So that's the one that's the center of the paper. And I just make a fold. Center of the paper. It's on my thumb. And I make a fold. Any fold. Doesn't matter. Now open it up. Look at what we made. So, one more time. Fold it and find the one that's the corner. Find the corner that's the center. And that's the one that you're going to fold in. And when you open it up, that's what you should see. Or something like it. Is everyone getting that? If you get one that looks like an X, then you probably folded the wrong corner. And you might want to try it again. Now, if you look at this, take a look. If I spin this thing around, it looks exactly the same. What do you think? Well, first of all, what's going on here at the center? What are these angles? Yeah, those are 90s, right? I mean, heck, when you folded this thing the first time, you made those 90-degree angles, didn't you? Right there. When you folded it hamburger and hot dog. You made those 90s right there. So you got 90s in the center, right? Now, what do we know about all these sides? Yeah, because when I made them all at the same time by making one fold. This edge right here is the edge of my shape. That fold becomes all four of my edges. So that means all of these guys are equal. What do you think about this angle right there? We made that one when we folded it also, didn't we? When we made that fold. So what do you think about those two angles right there? This one and that one. What do you think about them? You made them at the same time, didn't you? So what do you think? Are they different or are they the same? Which means what word? Congruent. So if these two are the same, that means that this line, this seam right here, cuts this big angle right in half. So this is, we have cut an angle directly in half. And that's why, if we go back here, this whole shape works. Because what you're really making is a rhombus. Now, there's a lot of stuff going on in here. Now, let's see if I can get a good sheet of paper. So what I want you to do is I want you to practice this one more time. I want you to make one, put your name on it. I want you to make it perfect, because you're going to turn it into me. You don't need to draw the rhombus. You just need to draw. You need more paper? Yeah. All right. Come on up and grab some. Big stack. A big stack of paper here a minute ago. Yeah, just grab what you need. Yeah. Well, I'd like you to keep one for your notebook. but I want you to turn one in. So make sure you have a piece of paper that you can keep and a piece of paper you can turn it. Okay? So I want it, I want you to draw a right angle. And yeah. And if you mess up one of them, that's no problem. Just do it again and circle it and tell me, look at this one, hey. Okay? All right. This episode of the